Hello there and welcome. It's time for another commentary gameplay video. This time it's going to be a game between Diego and Amber at our local 3-round tournament that took place at Magic Stronghold here in Vancouver. And the store and the community around the store has been able to hold monthly tournaments, and this tournament was 18 people to start with, and it's been 16 to 18 people and selling out fairly quickly whenever they put the event up on their page. So really strong, consistent community going on there, and this store has been nice enough to give us the table space on a consistent basis in order to hold these tournaments. So shout out to Magic Stronghold for hosting these tournaments, and also to the organizers, this time TO'd by Tom. Now the two lists we have here are Diego with Mace squad and Plo squad. Looks like a good pairing as Mace provides a lot of the force, and Plo is a little bit more force hungry but can make a lot of big plays with that force. Then he went with the trooper side of things rather than the Padawan side of things, and so there's going to be a lot of out of activation movement on his side. Mace can give a unit a dash and also gets one himself. Pawns can give another character a dash, so not to himself but to another. Wolf, Commander Wolf can give a unit a climb. I think it's a clone trooper unit a climb. So both characters if it's one of the supporting units. And Plo, if he can give another unit a dash, but if he picks one of the support units, then he will also get a dash off of that. So he's going to be moving 2 bodies on every single activation. Now the Separatist lists are similar in that sense, as Grievous can give another battle droid within 3 a dash. Dooku gives another Separatist Alliance unit or character a dash and gets one himself. Kraken can give another battle droid unit or himself a dash as his tactical ability, and then the Magna Guards get an advance. One character gets an advance every time one of the 2 primaries moves. So Django is really the only one who's not going to be moving 2 bodies on his turn. However, he is very mobile himself and has the diceless displacement, the only source of diceless displacement in the list for Amber. Plo Koon is the only one for Diego as well. So 1 and 1 for the diceless displacement. It looks like they're playing on Sabotage Showdown. I saw them pick a card but not flip it on camera, so we'll have to find out once someone pulls a Shatterpoint which of the 3 Struggle 1 cards they picked. What was interesting watching Diego deploy was he very much took advantage of the 2 of pawns allowing the troopers to be deployed 2 away from Mace. I would usually like Amber kind of line up the primaries with those 2 back points, or maybe even kind of push them just a slight bit to the outside, just so that they're closer to the middle objectives that are active. But Diego has spread his completely out, so Pawns is almost right on the point. The ARF troopers are spread out, and I believe what he's trying to do there is to spread out the coordinated fire, since that coordinated fire expose is going to be very handy in this list. Plo, his squad is kind of deployed as you would usually expect. But Diego was first player, and I think he pulled Plo first. So we'll see what he does with that. So as I mentioned, his tactic, we'll choose a allied Galactic Republic unit. Each character will get a dash, and so he's going to choose the Wolfpack on that. And then because it's a trooper, or Padawan, but trooper in this case, then he will get a dash. Now, what's important to note is that the secondaries are clone troopers, but they are not just troopers. So picking them doesn't work for his ability. It's only the supports, or if he had the Padawan secondaries, that would work as well to give him also the dash. So then just a normal move action to get that advance. Okay, so technically the take cover action is a push and not a move. So if you end that within one of a ingress point, you don't actually get to use it. But I'm sure if they are aware of that, then they would have just reversed the order of the take cover and the advance in order to make that work. Amber's pulled Dooku. Dooku is pretty good to draw early because he'll get a lot of movement on those Magna Guards, so he can give one of them a dash, himself a dash, and then when he advances, a Magna Guard, one of the Magna Guards can also advance, so that should be able to get himself and a Magna Guard onto that side point, which would be very difficult to remove. Now she's decided to reserve him, and so instead we've got Django. Now, see, that's the thing, is Django, and they should have marked control at the end of Diego's turn, so she might be worried about that back point, but she should already have it. Django has a lot of mobility, but he's the only diceless displacement in the list, so he's somebody who really wants to have a target before his activation, so not a great draw off of that reserve there. So yes, they're good. They're counting those back too, so she does get the 3 points on that. So whoever Diego drew has been put into reserve. Now, of course, being a 18-person tournament, it's pretty loud in there. There's also like must be 40 to 50 other people in the rest of the store playing, doing another tournament. So pretty loud in there. But hopefully the background noise doesn't get too distracting. So I guess he's pulled the ARFs and just moving them to cover those back points and be able to put out his coordinated fire expose. Probably had an opportunity. Maybe didn't want to use the force on defensive maneuver for his hunker and took the take cover action instead, but could have been an opportunity to maybe take a shot at Django first, at least for that one ARF. Amber has picked the B2s. So they do have a extra dash that they can use, and so probably try and look to just get two bodies up onto the point that Plo is on at the bottom. If they can make it to that ingress point that actually takes them all the way up, but actually if they take that ingress point, definitely only one of them will fit. So it might have been good to send one the other way and try to get a climb to potentially get up there. Oh, that's an interesting method of checking for range there. Might have to use that. Alright, gonna try to get some chip damage onto the wolf pack before they even get to activate. And using the saturation fire for 2 extra dice on that attack. So there's some expertise on there, and it looks like I think she got 3 hits, so 2 shoves and 5 damage. Just going straight for that back point. Now I should mention that we had kind of an extra prize. So people were to count up how many times throughout the tournament that in Struggle 1 they captured their opponent's back point. So that would give them a point. And then in Struggle 2, if you controlled all 3 objectives at some point, that would also give you a point. So maybe why we're going directly for the back points already. Okay, so we got another shove through for the follow-up there. Yeah, so not getting a flip on that. Oh yeah, he should have gotten 3 points on his turn, which would get them each a momentum. But she gets her 3 points back again. Did you get a wound on that? Go back for a second here. Okay, they are counting that, so must have gotten the wound. They're counting it as 2 to 1 there, so that'll be 4 points. And another momentum. I mean, I guess with that first attack doing 5 damage, pretty likely that she was able to get the last 3 damage through on that second attack.
So at the start of his activation, another character can dash.
Sounds like that might be Pawn's tactic ability. Giving that dash to Mace Windu. Yeah, measuring from pawns there. So seems like he's playing very defensively, conservatively to just keep everyone pretty well together.
I will do coordinated fire with the arms to give you exposed.
So yeah, it's gonna expose them with the ARC troopers, coordinated fire, and do attack, ranged attack with pawns. Okay, so just one success getting through for 2 damage on that. Even with the expose. I'm not sure what he plans to do with his second action, but maybe could have done a focus on that for more dice if he's just gonna keep sitting on that point. Right. Yeah, the B2s have protection, so it'll be just 1 damage getting through. Okay. It's gonna take a gonna do just to take cover. Really not spending any force yet, so must really be trying to save that for either Plo or on the Shatterpoint or Mace maybe. So Amber's gotten the Shatterpoint, so maybe we'll hear what the extra tactic ability is. Oh yes, and he would have gotten 2 points. Should remember that. And not getting past 0 would give him momentum.
It's like a that, but you can ignore the level of the ring, so you can go up or down.
Alright, so like Grievous, he gains scale until the end of his turn, and then so could I advance to here, and then jump up to like here?
I think so.
Yeah, they're discussing the scale on Grievous from his Scuttle ability, because I'm just wondering if I think if it can still be an advance on both, but the if one of the advances get turned to a climb with scale, then then that still is just using the dash tool for the climb.
I have scale until the end of my turn.
So not sure if she'll quite make it to onto the top there where Plo is. Gave the dash to Kraken. But she'll already be getting this struggle because she already has 4 points. So, but probably trying to work on getting damage on people to potentially start wounding them and making the force economy more difficult.
Change my stance, and I'm gonna shoot up at you.
Alright, so he's Grievous is going to shoot at Plo Koon, who is hunkered and will benefit from cover. What stance is he in? Okay, Suresu. So that'll be like 8 dice on defense. Grievous on Cunning Warlord. I'll have 7 dice on attack. Okay, 1 success getting through, so shove and 2 damage. So that will help be able to shove him off. They'll still be tied on that point because no one's at that elevation. But yeah, now if Amber could move a B2 even close enough to contest that point, then that could flip the point.
I think it's the one that has
yeah, I think it's the highest elevation. Then it goes, if no one's up here, then it goes to the lowest. But because I'm higher, do I count? I'm not doing that.
Right, so when no one is at the proper elevation, then you look to all of the other elevations. So the fact that Grievous is higher up, he's still not at the proper elevation, so so it should still be a tie on that point.
one that's close to it. So you. So you get 5.
Right, so either way, she gets that struggle anyway. So we'll reset. Diego will get to choose. Okay, choosing the one where Amber actually has 2 of those points already. Oh, okay. Goes down the middle. I thought he was leaving Django's active. So So yeah, I think they had counted the now fail objective as being Amber's, but maybe Mace is close enough to have that one tied. The middle one, of course, has no one there yet, but Kraken is sitting on the back one, although he's by himself currently. And yeah, so the other option must have been the one that the Magna Guards are on, and I mean, Dooku is in reserve, so he could easily get that. And, well, I think they were already close enough, but then he would actually already have one on the back point.
I'm gonna spend 2 force for run and gun. So I get 2
Okay, so he drew the wolf pack,
then I
who are
immediately
already wounded once. So he'll be having to spend 2 force that run and gun to do the dash and focus action. If that's as far as they want to move, he could have maybe just done a focus for free, but he does have a lot of force to go through with 3 cards left, so might as well start using some. Now they are better in melee. They get to add 2 dice with their pack hunter, and the B2s have not very good defense in melee. So between the two of them, hopefully get that wound. I think he said he got 7 successes. So full tree definitely there. However, their total damage that they could do is pretty low. I don't think they can actually do enough. So staying the top track, strain, 3 damage, 3 pushes, and a pin. So I guess, so she'll have protection there, so it'll only be 2 damage getting through. I wonder if he did an expose from the ARPS as well. And so that puts them, well, I think she marked all 3. They should be at 3 out of 9 with their protection. Oh, it's 8. So could they do 5 damage on the second attack? Because if the strain and pin both becomes damaged, then he could do 5, but that should be down to 4 as well. Now maybe he's using the coordinated fire expose this time. It's like another full tree. Okay, they're remembering the protection on that.
So I will do 3 damage, strain, pin.
Is that with protection?
No, without.
No, okay. So then 2
2
damage,
strain, pin.
which gives me an extra one. Gives me an extra one. Okay, so yeah, they're wounded. Or no.
And then 3 pushes.
Okay, no, they've got 1 health left.
Right, 4 damage getting through.
And then 3 pushes again.
So 1 away, but Get to shove them way out of the way, making sure they get that back point. Just gotta be careful that he doesn't push them too close to that middle point to be accidentally getting that.
Also, did you roll the flip of that?
Oh, you are. Oh, right.
Oh, didn't roll for parity. Alright, it was the back one. Wasn't gonna reach that anyway. I guess. I mean, maybe Plo could have. Well, yeah, he could have tried to fish for the Shatterpoint to get Plo, maybe, but. So that would just be 1 point on that turn.
No, wait, I still have an action left.
Okay, the automatic will get 5 more on top of that. 5 more in a string.
Right, so he's still got. Okay, yeah, he does still have an action left, so he'd at the very least, he could be even staying at the ground elevation, but getting close enough to at least score that middle point. But just kind of repositioning again for that coordinated fire. So we're going with Dooku this time, or maybe just considering Dooku to go for that middle point. So giving the Magna Guard a dash, and then he gets a dash. They both could probably use that ingress point, and then be able to have that same Magna Guard advance off of Dooku's advance. But either way, he'll be able to move up towards that middle point. The Magna Guard will be able to get to the middle point, just staying on the ground.
And then I'm just gonna take
Hunker?
Yeah, or let me see. I think there's something to get over there. Oh, that's too bad. I guess, well, you could take a hunter, I guess, and get a little bit
So
closer.
thinking about taking a shot at Force Lightning at the ARFs, it looks like.
I'm gonna shoot at your offshoot rack, so I guess, and then you can
Which one?
your offshoot.
Okay. So they're hunkered, but well, yeah. That crystal might be close enough. Well, I guess no, because it's at a lower elevation than Dooku, so that crystal won't count either way. Right, so Diego was looking to see if he could get anything, probably get the innate off of Blow to give them better expertise, and then he would be able to get a dash afterwards as well, just to probably.
They have Steadfast.
Okay, so just 2 damage.
Okay, so getting must have been a damage from the expertise. So 2 damage getting through on that. But for Plo to reinforce that back point, that is currently the fail. If he dashed off of that, but must not have been close enough. So that'll be 3 points for Amber. Oops.
block.
So the priority is still staying in the same spot, so that is not good for Diego.
One unit of clones gets to jump. What's the range on not so fast?
Comes off, it's 3. So I will go. And there we go. And
I think we've pulled Commander Wolf. So looking at who to give a climb to, or what unit to give a climb to. So it would have to be a clone trooper unit, so we can do it with pawns. Oh, so he's gonna send pawns to the middle point, tie it up with Dooku there. Oh, Amber actually forgot the advance for the Magna Guards off their bodyguard or protection protocols. Yeah. So that is a common one to forget. I know my first few games with them, I would often miss the first instance of it, but then once, well, actually, yeah, they should have gotten an advance off of Grievous activating as well, doing a move. But I would commonly forget the first time and then remember the second time and go, oh, dang it, they should have already been up closer, but it was too late.
what expertise in the block and then expert goes into a miss. I can't go into a miss.
Well, this unit is not wounded, and he has a clone trooper within 5. You cannot modify my crits.
I'm blocking 2.
Right, so Wolf has the ability, because he's not wounded, when a clone trooper makes an attack on an enemy within 5 of another clone trooper, then the crits can't be modified. So Dooku cannot change those to fails.
It's gonna be 2 damage, a push, and disarm.
So getting 2 steps, 2 damage, push and disarm. He is within, I think, range to be shoved off of that point, so pawns will be able to capture that middle point for him. I'm not sure if Wolf did a focus action first or if he's still got an action to go.
And then for his second activation,
Right, so he's got another action. Just going to take that full advance, making it very, very difficult for Amber to go for that back point. 3 different units on it, although the wolf pack I think is wounded. Mace is almost on top of that point as well. It's on that. So that will take them back to 0 and give them each a momentum.
How much health does this guy have? Who is that?
he has 7.
I'm gonna put the main guard.
Oh, so Grievous is activate. Right, Grievous was a Shatterpoint. So she's now reserving the Magna Guards and going picking the next card, which was Grievous. So you can give someone within battle droid within 3 a dash, or within 4 actually a dash, which I'm sure those B2s are within 4. Probably doesn't want to move Kraken, but I think he's in range as well. So I think Pawns only has 7 health, and and it would only take 3 successes on quad arm in order to do that. So probably pretty easy task for Grievous. Also, he could have, because the B2s should be within 3 still, he could have them follow up with Appetite for Destruction to do a 5 dice attack and get that last damage or 2 if Grievous needed that. So yeah, he just used the ingress point, so he should be within of the edge to shove off. But so doing Cunning Warlord, I think, and trying to guarantee the shove on this. Alright, so got that 2 damage and a push to shove him off. Okay, going that way. So then flip that. We get 3. Now again, Grievous moved again, so that should have given the Magna Guard another advance, which would be helpful in really solidifying that center point.
At the start of his activation, him and another unit can dash.
So I think, yeah, Mace Windu is going and dashing pawns back up to tie that center point. Just gonna move him out of the way a little bit so that Mace can probably also get up there. Okay, so that was a good roll for priority there, being the point that he already has. So that center objective is definitely a good spot for Mace to be, especially if he's able to stay engaged with Grievous, although that would mean he's not pushing him off the point. But then that would allow him to give off his protection as steadfast, which he hasn't been able to do yet. and it's range 5, so being near the center, I mean, he's got pretty much everyone in his bubble right now for that. So Grievous must have gotten A expertise to do a crit to hit, and would get a dash after. Four damage and 3 pushes. I must be on Jedi Master. So if he's getting 3 pushes, then it should be 5 damage. It looks like. Pushing Grievous onto the back point. So yeah, now because he's pushed Grievous off, he's no longer engaged with anybody. So he kind of has to decide between keeping on that point with 2 bodies, or moving Mace down to be engaged with somebody in order to get that protection and steadfast off to his team. So he's deciding to stick with that center objective. I mean, I'm sure someone's going to have to come up there to engage anyway. So we did get 3 points on that, so they should be getting another momentum each there. Now Amber's gotten the priority back to the point that she has, which is nice for her. She decided to pick Kraken instead of Magna's out of reserve. Kraken will be able to move probably the Magnas, give them each a dash, so that could get them up to the proper elevation with that ingress point. Or, although that one is already closer to the middle, so you might just dash them forward so that they can do a climb on their activation. Yeah, the B2s are not wounded, but they are strained. I think they were 1 away from... Yeah, so if the B2s do the dash, then they'll set off the strain and become wounded, so that won't really help. So I think she's looking at, yeah, having the Magnas take that ingress point, get up to the proper elevation, and keep working on that center point. So they're not within 4, I don't think. So probably good to Let's see. You'll want to move to get close enough to do that tactical network. And you could probably
Isn't this guy a droid?
Yeah. If it's his battle,
probably
he's just a
do the attack, attempt to wound pawns, and through tactical network move a Magna Guard up so that it's tied, and then next activation you can definitely well, you'll have to have the Magna Guards go, and then they could double up on that point, and probably push off whoever he sends up there to attempt to guard that center point. So it looks like she's gonna focus and just shoot pawns. Just go for the wound on that. Yeah, Kraken gives an option between the active ability and the damage, so won't necessarily be wanting to pick the active ability off the tree if she can get the 5 damage through.
Yeah, because he blocked 2, yeah, so that's 4 roughly.
Okay, getting 4 through, so that should be the wound.
Um, 5 damage, 2 pushes, and a pin.
Right, yeah, that's the good track to take on that. Don't need the extra shove. You're already wounding, so a shove and pin is always a really good combination.
Yeah, 2 pushes and a pin. Yeah, so when,
So that will be a wound on pawns, which will get her a momentum.
So I did Windu, so I get this. Yeah, okay, I will move that.
Not flipping the point, but she already has the 2 from the priority on her back point there. So back point is priority again. Potentially looking to capture that side, the side objective of the tournament, which is to control all 3 points during the second struggle. But also needs to make a big swing to get the struggle going his way. So going with Plo Koon, which is a good choice on that. You can give another unit a dash as well. Again, I think the wolf pack is wounded. Hans is wounded. But maybe just moving the wolf pack forward for the next time they activate. Kind of getting prepared for struggle 3, it looks like, because he's putting some bodies on that other back point. So Plo Koon will be hoping to get a shove or two, and well, he has the force to do his force push, so that's good. Kraken might need more than one push. It would be close, but Grievous definitely only needs one push in order to be off the objective. Kraken, I mean, one push might be enough, but yeah, it's closer anyway.
Abilities twice, or is it only once?
I believe it's only once, but I would double check that.
Right, because then also Kraken has protection and steadfast, so the when he's on an active objective, so that means that if Plo Koon only has one shove, then he's not actually going to be moved, so that would be a problem. Probably better to, again, do the attack on Grievous. He's got a pretty low defensive pool. He does get a dash back, potentially on the expertise, and ARFs aren't close enough to expose him. So I guess that is a reason to not be attacking Grievous, but if he had a pin... Well, yeah, Gemso does have pin shove, so he could counter that with the pin.
So it will be 6 damage, a shove, and a pin.
Okay, so protection only 5 damage, and I have steadfast, so the push doesn't really play. Did you say pin?
So three
And then I will use
successes gives him 6 damage, pin and shove. He did attack Kraken, so that'll be 1 less damage, 1 less shove, so just the 5 damage and pin. He's going to spend the 2 force to do a force push. Now, which one? Yeah, looks like he's gonna push Grievous. However, that point will still be tied, so he won't be flipping that. So 2 points. And we're back to 0. Each getting a momentum. So the Magna Guards are going to go just by moving up the center. They'll be able to flip that point just from numbers. But they are, I think, safe to be doing attacks on Mace, try and get some shoves. If he gets really high on the expertise, he could reposition or jump back depending what side he's on. But still, that's pretty safe there.
Yeah, this one will attack Mace first.
So, because you're in range, I get steadfast and protection.
Right, so that will now set off the steadfast and protection. Let's see if she gets 2 shoves through.
I'll just do an attack on. So, 2 crits, 3 hits. Block my hit. Even though you're in melee. So, just 2 crits, 3 damage, and 2 pushes.
3 damage, 2 pushes getting through on the 2 successes. Now, the thing is, that it's either, well, yeah, she'll have to decide if she wants to do the push, because then the other one can't do an attack out of engagement range.
Where were you before I
So yeah, she wants to do, I think, that second attack, so not doing the shove, so that she can do that. Yeah, might have been good to either just shove him off of the building, on that attack, because you can't shove him out of range of that objective. But would have gotten 2 damage through on that.
So 5 damage? Yeah. So goes down to 4 because of protection.
And then disarm and 2 pushes, so only 1 push. So disarm and get 1 point, and I got a black.
So got 3 successes on that one. So 5 damage, which turns to 4. Although, yes, so if he's no longer contesting an objective, although I think he'll still be close enough to be contesting from the ground, so he will still get his, or no, how does it work? He's no longer engaged. So, well, no, he's probably engaged with Dooku now, so still getting the protection and steadfast. But that will get her the 3 points again, so almost finishing that off.
At the start of his activation, he can dash another unit. So
I think it was Koon that he picked. He's gonna get, he can get another unit to dash, and so it's going to be Mace that he dashes to the back point, so that'll help to flip that point with the 2 bodies there. Not sure if they rolled for priority and it stayed there or not. So yeah, he didn't himself get a dash because it was not a Padawan or Trooper. But how could he flip both points here? If he attacks Kraken and wounds him on his Gemso side, he could get a jump and then move to the center, but he can only force push one of the Mega Guards, so that isn't going to work.
for my first action, I am gonna attack
So yeah, he's gonna do the attack on Kraken. Yeah. Yeah, it's not like he has enough damage output to wound the Magna Guards if he tried to go that way. So force push on Kraken, try to wound Magna Guards. It's not really gonna work.
So it's gonna be 5 damage,
Started. Okay. I have protection, so that goes down to 4 damage.
and then pin,
5 damage.
shock,
Pin.
Uh,
Sorry, what?
a pin and a shock,
Sorry, what?
a pin and shock.
Oh, shock. Okay. Oh, I
so
have steadfast, so the shove doesn't work. I am wounded, though. I am wounded.
Alright.
right, so 5 damage getting through.
Jump, reposition,
The pin again becoming a damage. So that'll wound Kraken. Get a momentum there. So he is going to jump up away because Mace already has that back point.
Then for his free action.
And then, yeah, so he is going to, I think, move to the center and at least push one of them off so that he can potentially get the center point on the next activation. Okay, he's going to force push Kraken off. Having some trouble moving him with his steadfast, so that'll make it easier for Mace to keep that point, but even though Kraken was already wounded, Plo Koon moving onto the center. I still think maybe force pushing the not wounded Magna Guard would be more helpful for next activation. Yeah, but he will get the 3 points, which will give them both a momentum. Not sure if he paid for the force push, or maybe he got it off of his tree. Oh yeah, maybe that's what it was. He must have got it off his tree and was only close enough to Kraken for the force push. Amber must have picked the B2s. So, using recover to get rid of the strain. However, they could also, not sure if they rolled for priority or not. Staying there again, spending a lot of time on that back point. But when a support unit is actually doing a recover action, you can recover once for each character. So should be able to get rid of the strain and a damage. But probably won't make too much difference. Moving in, engaging Mace, but the number of bodies on that point will flip it. So saturation fire. I wonder if they did focus, because they did relentless advance. To try and get some more dice on this attack.
So I block 2, a crit into a hit, and then they get a reposition.
Okay, it sounds like he's gonna get a reposition on this. I must have hit the 4 expertise.
It does just 2 damage goes through, and then you get a reposition.
1, 2, 3, 4 dice. So 4 plus 9 to 6. Sometimes I get pushed off the thing and I can't get back up. Do that attack? Yeah, okay. Okay, it turns into a hit and an automatic damage. Okay, and then what? And then how much do you
Alright, it would be just 1 damage because he has protection.
Just 2 go through. 2 go through is just 4 damage. Not just 4 damage.
So just been doing 2 damage and a shove, but he has steadfast and protection, so just 1 damage getting through.
Alright, you get 3 dice from the Shatterpoint.
Oh, okay.
I know this is
I would get this back.
it's a melee. Would have been a melee attack.
How much health does he have? He does that 5 damage.
So, but might have missed the
And I'm actually
or used the wrong expertise on that.
Position, I'm not gonna attack you again, so I'm just gonna go with.
So the reposition is just an advance.
Terrain on first of all, this table because it did a lot more attacking. Makes them a lot.
So
Let's add up the movement.
they're discussing the terrain. She of course flipped that back point, whether Mace moved or not. But the reposition is just an advance that ignores, like, that you can still use while engaged. He would need to have something like scale in order to turn that advance into a climb. It looks like he did the climb off of that, kind of like you could do with the Republic Commandos. But anyway, I guess trying to move towards the center point to maybe work on flipping that, or just kind of abandoned the point because it was going to be flipped anyway. Now, it's interesting. There was a lot of out of activation movement on both sides that was available, and I think that some of it kind of went to waste. Some of it was forgotten with the Magna Guards for sure, but definitely could have been moving at least into the middle in Struggle 1 for the Republic, with all of that out of activation movement that was happening. Really, with the amount of out of activation movement on both teams, there could have been much more of a fight for the center, the center on this, but he really hung his clone troopers back on those back points. The Wolfpack still got wounded. The ARFs, I don't think, did. Pawns did. But I think even though they're easy to wound, I think you still need, my preference when I'm playing is to still move them up anyway. I know the coordinated fire can chip away with on everyone else's attacks, but I really feel like you need to use the number of bodies to be flipping points and to make it more difficult to flip the points back, because then that forces your opponent to at least be putting the attacks into the supports, as easy as they may be to wound. But it takes it away from your other figures and clumps things up so that maybe they can't get up to the right elevation or within range and stuff like that. But because also Plo Koon has the Force Push, which he got to use on, I think, pretty much every one of his activations. Django did not use his capture wire. He's still sitting on that point from the start, so he was pretty much just body on a point for this game. Although Diego was very aware of his not so fast ability, which I know is considered to be overpowered, but it's kind of I guess an ability that maybe did affect the game anyway, because he didn't seem to want to send anyone close to Django. But again, for the Separatists too, having Dooku move up first, and if you're aware of the Magna Guard's advance on the Separatists movement, primaries movement, then I think you really start to see at that point the strength of him going first and being able to move himself and a Magna Guard onto a center point, because that would, I mean, Django effectively just kept that point anyway, but moving Dooku and a Magna onto a center point would also be a way to make your opponent think twice about trying to fight for that point. But yeah, anyway, that two struggle win for the Separatists, and interesting to see Plo Koon and his box played. The other will actually be kind of featuring that squad in the videos from this tournament, because I forgot to record the second game that was on this table. But the third game, which I did record, was myself with the Talzin Mall list that I practiced a couple times, which you've seen in my other videos, against a Vader Plo Koon list. So look out for that. They went with the same squad with Plo Koon with the troopers, the wolf pack. So look out for that, and I will see you in the next video.